Hello and welcome to this first lecture on Introduction to Deep Learning, that is Learning Neural Networks for Beginners. My name is Ninad Gaikwad, and the reference books that I used are Neural Networks and Deep Learning by Charu Agarwal and Deep Learning by Ian Goodfellow, Joshua Benjo, and Aaron Kuruvelli. All right, so these are the references. Let's start with the inspiration to this artificial neurons, that is the inspiration to this deep neural networks, which are artificial, also known as artificial neural networks. That is the biological neural network. Okay, so the biological neuron is a cell of our brain. Okay, and it looks something like this. All right, it looks something like this. uh, the concept of biological neuron, the human brains consist of billions of neurons that send and receive signal through synapse. Okay, uh, what are the basic components of the cell? This cell is the dendrites, which receive signal from other neurons, the axon, which is which sends the signal to other neurons, and cell body, that is the soma over here. Okay, which processes the incoming signal and sends the output signal. Okay, what happens is when the neuron receives a signal through enough signals, it sends an electrical signal down the axon to other neurons. Okay, and that connection is shown over here. All right, so like this, many other neurons are connected, and that is when the memory is formed. Okay, so I give an example, an analogy of, take the example of a child who goes to the kindergarten or KG for the first time. Okay, and there's a chart which shows where A is written and apple is drawn. Okay, and the teacher says A for apple. Okay, by pointing at that particular uh, letter and the drawing of an apple. Okay, now what the teacher intends is that the kid should learn that a means apple. All right, and how does the teacher accomplish that? By repetition. Okay, so a for apple maybe 10 or 20 times is repeated, and when the child goes home, it is expected that the child will retain that memory. Okay, so the next day when the child comes, the he or she may retain the memory, or may have lost some confidence on whether a is apple, or could have entirely forgotten about the A for apple, right? So what happens is, again the training begins. Again the teacher points at the letter and the image and shows, and tries to convey that student that is A stands for apple. Okay, and now let's assume that the student is able to retain that memory. Okay, so apple is red in color, it has such and such size, and then such and such shape. Okay, so color, size, that is say 3 or 4 inches. Okay, and shape. Okay, then when the teacher introduces, say for example, a different apple which is green in color. Okay, so it is not ripe yet. uh, then it is when that is shown to the kid, that kid might say that this is not an apple, and the reason for that is because uh, that child was trained on an instance or an image of an apple which was red in color, and this is green in color. So the child lacks that confidence with which that child can say that this is also an apple. So again, the teacher, what the teacher does, it the teacher again explains to the child that this is also an apple, it only differs in color. Okay, so now the child learns something new, right? That is, the color of that apple does not matter. What matters is the size and the shape of that apple. Okay, so then say next day the child learns this, and the next day the teacher uh, takes brings in smaller apples, that is the ones which are which were flowers once and have just now begun to take the shapes of apples. Okay, so in that case, again the kid is not familiar, so the kid might say that this is not an apple. Okay, again the teacher has to convince this is an apple by showing multiple images, right? And once it is confident, it can say that apple now does not depend on the shape, it does not depend upon the color, it only depends on the size, sorry, the shape. Okay, not the size, not the size nor the color. Now what happens if the child sees or sees somewhere the Apple logo, the company Apple logo? Then again the child is confused, right? So somebody has to tell that child that this is an Apple company's logo. Okay, and this is how the learning happens, right? And it is the same way in this artificial neural networks. Okay, the way the learning happens in biological neural networks is the same way that the artificial neural networks are trained. Okay, I hope this analogy was clear to you, how this working happens. Okay, shown over here, the images shown over here are a single cell, how it looks when it comes to artificial cell. Okay, when it is replicated in artificial neural network, how it looks. Okay, and then multiple cells connected to each other, how they look in biological setup. And the multiple, though the equivalent of it, though I have shown only two cells, but it could be this dendrites or this these dendrites and axons could be connected to multiple ones, multiple uh, cells at once. Okay, so that is what is shown over here. So I hope this explanation was clear enough. In the next one we will see about this maculopat's neuron model. Thank you.